Hi guys, I hope you are doing absolutely great so far. In this video, we will talk about one of the aspect of programming, the basic programming, that is handling the errors. In this video, we'll talk about handling errors in Swift. We'll learn about various keywords, for example, throws, to catch block, try, and also we'll dive deeper into try question mark, try exclamation mark, these kind of keywords, and we'll understand the error handling throughout. We can also use custom errors, that is we use enums for that. So grab your Xcode and let's get started. So let's get started with how to define and throw errors in Swift. We will learn about throws and throw keyword here. Then once we know how to throw an error, we will handle errors. We will use do catch block, and we will also learn about try keyword here. Then we will learn how to use try keyword, try question mark, and try exclamation mark. And also we will learn how to where exactly we should use them. And then we will learn about cleanup with defer. So here we will learn about defer block that we use in function. So I'll start with the first one, that is how to define and throw error. So here I will define a function where we will be dividing a number with 0, and any number which is any number which is divided by 0 gives us infinity. In Swift it gives us an error, so we will throw that error first, and in this we will learn how to throw an error exactly. So this is just a function divide number which takes two parameter, numerator and denominator, both of type integer, and it will return integer. So I will return here numerator divided by denominator, and this is just a normal function. Now let's put a condition here, guard denominator is not equals to 0, else. So what here it does is it will check this condition only if this condition is true. If it is not 0, then it will go ahead and do the division and return the result, that is integer. Otherwise it will go to the else block, and here we will throw an error. So to throw an error, I will create a custom type here first, that is enum, and I will have two cases here. So I have division by 0 and invalid input case. Division by 0 is for if this denominator is not equals to 0, it will do the operation, but if it is not, then we will throw this division by 0 error. Now for it to be an error type, we have to make it to conform to error protocol, and we have invalid input for any other type of error. For now we will use this one. So here I will write math error dot division by 0. Now since this function is throwing an error, that is it is using a throw keyword, we must mark it as throws. That indicates that this function throws error. Now that we know how to throw an error, let's go to the second part, that is handling error. So here we will use do catch block, and also we will learn about try keyword. So let's call this method here, and I'm going to give it some value, and I'm going to divide it by 0. So what will happen is it will go to the denominator and it will go to the else block and will give us this error. Now whenever you call a function which is going to throw an error or has this keyword which says throws, we always have to call that function using try keyword. And to capture this error, we have to have a do catch block. Inside do block, we try calling our function, and in the catch block, you can capture it by creating a let constant here. So I will say err, and in here you can print a message. Let's run this. Okay, it says unexpected expression. I need to give a space here, and now let's try running. Okay, so when we are calling, we will also have to capture the value, that is the result, and let's run it now. Okay, so we have to put by, that is the external variable, since we are using by. Let's run it now, and it says error capture division by 0. So again, the try keyword is used whenever we call a function which throws an error, and it is used to capture the error explicitly. That means you have to use do catch block, and in the catch you can either mention it like this and capture it in this let constant. You can choose not to give here anything, and it will capture the error in a global variable called error. Let's run it, and it gives us error capture division by 0. If you are sure of what kind of error it will throw, we can mention it here like this, and what it says is if the thrown error is this, then we can just say here specifically that division by 0 error, and here we can just mention it. So what it does is the catch block, here we are mentioning explicitly that if the error is thrown and if it is equals to this one, then it will go to the catch block. If it is any other error other than this, we can write a catch block for that. So any error other than division by 0 will be captured by this block, and we can print unknown error occurred, and the global variable error we can just give it here, and it says division by 0 error occurred, and also the error name, which is this, the type. Now let's understand the third thing, that is when to use try question mark, and try exclamation mark. What are they? What do they mean? So we know when to use try. I will mention it here. And when it comes to try, we use try when we want to handle error explicitly. This means we use try with a do catch block to catch and process the error smoothly after that. I will write here example right below the note. So here we have a do catch block. In the do block, we have divide numbers 10 by 2 actually, and we are using try keyword because whatever the error thrown will be captured by the catch block. Suppose you don't want to have a do catch block and you don't want to use it basically, then you can mark it as question mark. Let's understand that with another example. I will mention it here. Now the try question mark is used when the divide number function is going to throw an error, but you don't want to actually go or capture that error into a catch block. Rather, you just want this variable or let constant to have a nil value. So this try question mark will convert the error thrown by divide function into a nil value and will assign it to the let constant. Let's write it here. I will mention it here. So if the function throws an error, it simply returns nil instead of crashing or requiring a do catch block. This is useful when you don't need detailed error handling, or also when you want to ignore the error. Also use it when you want to ignore the error. So here I will call divide number divided by 0, and the result I will capture, I will name it result 1, so that, and if the division goes well, then it will give you the result, but if it doesn't, in that case it will throw, and I will use try question mark to convert that throw into a nil value and capture it here. Now this may have the result value, that is the division result, or nil, so it's kind of, it is an optional value. So I will unwrap it using optional binding. So I will use if let save result and print it here. Print received nil, that is error thrown by function. Let's run it. Here it says received nil, error thrown by function, which is the else block. Since we are dividing it by 0, it will throw an error, and the try question mark will convert it to nil, and once we are unwrapping nil here, it will run the else block. Let's try dividing it by 2, and now it will give the division result and it will go to the if block. Let's run it, and it gives us optional 5. Since we are not unwrapping it, I should be using save result. Let's run it, and it will give us 5. Here it is giving us 5. Now let's talk about the third one. That is try. Now this is used when we are absolutely sure that the function will not throw an error. Now this is not used in production level code ever, because this is not a good practice. If you use it, it will basically crash your whole application, and try to use the other two rather than this one. I will mention it here. This is used when you are absolutely certain that the function will not throw an error. If an error does occur, the app will crash. Use try exclamation mark only when you are 100% sure that function won't throw an error. I hope these notes will help you, and here I will use it. I'll say try and call the division, and let's divide it by 0. Let's print result 1. Now this might crash, but let's run it. Okay, so we get an error, and also at runtime error we get error handling, fatal error, try exclamation mark expression unexpectedly raised an error. And so this is basically also saying the playground encountered a crash and could not finish executing. So let's comment it and run it again so that we keep our playground safe for now. So I will write a summary here. Tries, summary on try. So use try when you want to handle error explicitly. That means you have to use do catch block. Use try question mark when you want to return nil. if an error occurs when you want to ignore thrown error. This is when you should use when you really just want to ignore whatever the error is thrown. You don't care, just return a null value instead. GNORE and use try exclamation when you are confident no error will occur, and be cautious, might crash your whole application. So let's now move on to the next, that is clean up with defer. Now sometimes we need to clean up resources before the function exits, or basically regardless of the function ever throws an error or not, we want a piece of code to run before the function is done its complete execution. That is when we use defer block. Now defer basically means to put off something for further time. So it basically means until the whole execution of function is done. Defer block does not run. It runs only before, just before the whole execution is about to finish of the function. Let's take a look at one example. I will mention here a note first. Sometimes we need to clean up resources like closing a file or releasing memory. No matter what happens in the code, I will also add in defer block runs right before the function exit, even if an error is thrown. This ensures that your cleanup code always runs and keeps your application stable throughout. I will write an example here. The fetching of the data here, I will simulate it. So this is a function that throws an error, that is invalid input math error. We are fetching some data, and if it is taking some time or it is done, doesn't matter. This defer block will run the cleanup of resources. Here it will just print. We are just simulating that. And this function is eventually just going to throw this error. Let's try calling this function, fetch data. Now the function throws an error, so I must use try keyword before that. And since I'm using try keyword, I'm explicitly capturing the error, so I must use it inside a do block and catch the error. I will just use the global variable inside which I will get the error. So I will receive invalid input. I will just print it. Let's run it. Okay. I should be writing here throw. And it says fetching data, clean up resources, invalid input.